This video is a little bit different than usual. I'm going to be talking about my biggest regrets with my save file today. This is my save file, if you don't know, and I've been working on it for about a year and a half now, maybe a little bit over a year and a half. It's been in progress for a while now, which I think leads me perfectly to my first regret. I just think that this has taken me way too long. It's just, if I continue at this pace, I am gonna just be working on save files for the rest of my life, and I can't be doing that. So my goal is to complete more worlds and not just Willow Creek. Like, I obviously want to do Newcrest because duh, everybody does Newcrest. I have some big ideas for Windenburg and also Evergreen Harbor, which is behind my camera, but I can't take like 4 years to get 4 worlds done or more because it's been like a year and a half. So however long that would be, I can't. So I need to figure out a better system and a better way to kind of streamline some of this stuff. Yeah, it cannot take me this long in the future, and I think that is my biggest regret, which is a weird regret because it's not really a regret, it's just like an observation, and then a goal for the future, because I don't necessarily regret that it took me so long originally, because I think it was a learning process and I learned some stuff along the way. I think the second thing that I regret the most is not completing my community lots first. Some of the community lots are some of the last things that I worked on. I found the houses to be way easier to make, and I kind of pushed aside doing the community lots until the very last second. And with the way that I do lore, this means that there were a lot of photos that I couldn't take unless I built a community lot, and it just meant that there was a lot less photos out and about in the venues in the world that I'm gonna have to go back through and kind of redo some photos with some sims that are gonna be in some of these community lots. And still, even at the time of recording this video, I'm not done with all my community lots. This lot that I'm trying to load into right now is meant to be like a gay nightclub thing, karaoke bar mashup, and it's still not done. And I'm bad at community lots. I don't know how to make them. I don't know how to make them look good. I'm gonna ignore that we have a better build buy update. Like, this is where we're at with this nightclub. Like, it has no front door, and it's like this, and I'm hoping to release this save file like within a couple months, and I still have lots that look like whatever this is. I think that next world I do, I'm going to have to do the community lots first. I feel like it just makes more sense, and then it'll be way easier to do lore and photos and everything else that is meant to come after that, because right now it's just it's a mess. Another regret I have is I don't have enough mess in terms of interpersonal relationships. Like, I have some like drama, like this, household here, the abuela and her favorite instant Shiloh households kind of have beef with one another. There's some drama with like Lori having a crush on like the sim who lives here, Harlow, and it's kind of unrequited. They're like exes. But in terms of like Sims level drama mess, I don't feel like I have enough. Like, I don't have like a Don Lothario kind of sleazy guy who goes around in this kind of like with everyone. I don't have one of those archetypes of characters. I also don't have, any really cheating in my save or any sorts of secret affairs. Like, there's some political drama with like the mayor kind of straddling like this line between these two pieces of thought in the town of like kind of renovating and doing things new and bringing new life into the town, and then people who want it to stay more old and antiquated and kind of the way that it has been. So there's a little bit of like political town drama, and obviously every single household has like some bits of tension. There is also like a star-crossed lover story where these two families have like a rivalry, and then they're young adult sims from that household are actually in love with each other and planning to run away. So there's like a little bit of drama, but I think I missed an opportunity to do a little bit more over the top characters in and of themselves. And I think I might still have time to kind of fit some of those characters in. I have a whole household that's going to go in this apartment here that I'm going to be able to fit maybe like a Don Lothario type of sim. Maybe that sim will be a female. I don't know. I think my other regret is just not having as many queer sims in my save. I mentioned this recently in a video where I was making queer sims not necessarily for my save, just for fun. And I think I was so caught up in like having straight representation that I forgot to include gay people, which is crazy because I normally only really make gay sims, and I think for a long time I just forgot to do that in the save, and then I almost ran out of space for them and had to figure out last minute kind of shoehorn some plans I had into being queer because yeah, I forgot, honestly. So that's another regret I have is just, I don't know, doing that way. Another regret I have is kind of inconsistent building styles. My normal style when I build is like very cluttered, very lived in, very realistic. And some of the builds in this save, I really leaned into that. For example, like this room, this kids' room, which I tend to usually really go for it in kids' rooms. I really went for it in this room. This is Birdie and his younger sister's room. And I think that this is really cute, and like most everything is kind of usable except for this bookshelf. But then I have like their downstairs where it's still kind of a realistic building style, but I went with a more clean, kind of like simplified version of it so that your Sims could kind of get around and like use everything really well. And there's other examples I have of like this kind of complicated versus kind of simple building style. I just don't think it was very consistent throughout the save file. I don't want everything to be super cluttered, but I'm also really proud of those cluttered rooms and I don't want to par them down too much. So I'm kind of just leaving it how it is. This build represents another building regret of mine that's slightly different, which is I just somewhat regret doing slightly complicated builds. Also, I just noticed that the roofs are different. Give me 1 second to fix that because if that came out like that, I would also regret that. Basically, was a very complicated build to make. I did a speed build of this and it's on my channel if you want to find it, but this balcony with this roof was kind of a strenuous experience, and while it turned out really beautiful, it was just very time consuming. So I don't necessarily regret doing a complicated build just on the basis that it's complicated and whatever. I do regret it though, that I think that contributed to my first regret of just this taking forever is instead of just making like a normal plain Victorian, I kind of had to stretch the boundaries of the game a little bit, and ultimately like my builds take me a really long time because if it's too easy, I like make it harder for myself by either making it like super cluttered or complicated or whatever. And I'm wondering if maybe in order to kind of expedite the process in the future, I need to do a little bit more simple of builds. I think the inside of this, I like did a very good balance of like decorated and like kind of lived in, like a like a cleaner version of what a real house would look like. Basically, that's every Sims build, and I think it's really cute, and I'm really happy with it. So I'm kind of tentatively calling this a regret. I don't know. I love to build complicated things, so maybe I will probably continue to do this. I think it takes me too long, but I'll probably continue to do that, honestly. Talking about complicated houses, this house is another house that falls in that category. This house is in this category mainly just because it's way too big. I have had to furnish this entire house, and I'm not even done yet. I've been working on this for months on and off when I have motivation. And I don't even know, like this gigantic living room, like what else do you put in a room other than what I have put in this room? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's giant. There's like also this family space up here. I have like bedrooms to do. I think like Saoirse's room, like this room turned out really great. I'm really happy with this room. And honestly, I'm really happy with like this nursery, like primary bedroom combo. But overall, like a very complicated house, a giant mansion, and I don't think I'll build a house this big again if I can help it. Like I have this whole garage that I have to furnish. Like I don't know what I'm gonna be doing with the rest of this house. I think with some new packs, it might be a little bit easier to kind of jump back into this house, but oh my god. And then I still have to do like all the landscaping on the outside. Yeah, big regret is just how big this house is. It's too late. I'm like committed to this house. I've worked enough on it that like I'm not gonna start over and make it smaller. But I do regret it quite a bit. It's too big. Something else I regret is the Boudreaux family name. And I only regret this because I post these videos on YouTube and everybody loves to correct my pronunciation of their last name. For the record, as I've said over and over, I say it with like the American way that you would say it, because with the lore of the family, this is the founding family of the save file. And I started with them. And when I made these Sims, I had no idea that the save file was even going to be based on the Pacific Northwest. I still was kind of following EA's original plan. The reason I chose the name Boudreaux was because it's a really common name in the New Orleans area, Creole families, etc. And I was originally going to like follow EA's lore of Willow Creek. And it wasn't until I thought about it more and I looked at a bunch of New Orleans style houses that I decided I didn't want to do that, and I actually just wanted to make it a PNW town. This was kind of before everyone else was making a PNW inspired town. Like, there was a couple people who'd done it. There was like Silent Pines, and then The Neighborhood, I believe, is another PNW style like save that came kind of before my save. But at the time that I decided to make it PNW, it was a little bit before everyone else was doing it, so I was like, oh, this will be different and unique. Now, not so much, but that's okay. We all have our own take on things. But yeah, the last name of this family is a holdover from before I even was gonna make it a PNW town. And this family in general is a holdover from that. And yeah, I think I might still change their last name just because as much as it's integrated into the family history, this leads me kind of into my next point. I don't necessarily regret making it a PNW based town. I think I had to do that in order for me to hold my interest to it and to care so deeply about it. If I tried to go with EA's lore that it's like a New Orleans style, like Louisiana town, I don't think I would care nearly as much because I just personally have no ties to the area. And, you know, I'm sure that there's such an interesting history. There's a very rich culture, but to be able to like look outside my window and reference real life buildings was really helpful to me. There's a lot of buildings in this save that, you know, maybe I was on a road trip and I saw an actual building and took a photo of it. Like sometimes I'll be out and about in my life and I'll be kind of a creep and I'll literally take my phone out and I'll take a picture of a house and then I'll build it in The Sims. And that has happened. Like this craftsman, for example, like I saw this craftsman in Portland and then I built it. Like I am so inspired by the things that I see around me. So in that aspect, I don't regret it being based on a PNW town. I do, however, regret it a little bit just because everyone has kind of done it now, and because my save file has taken me so long, it's like kind of old news. I know that there's a lot of other things about my save that will be really unique, but it is still a little bit of a bummer that like everyone's kind of done this, and I feel like I'm a little bit late to the party now. So I have a minor regret about that, but I also wouldn't necessarily change it if that makes any sense. Because like I said, like I wouldn't get like a beautiful, realistic craftsman like this if I, you know, based it on any other type of area, because I am able to be so inspired by my surroundings and I'm able to walk around, you know, my city and find a house that I really want to build. Another regret I have is especially coming to light at this kind of stage of my save where I'm trying to finish it all up, is I haven't kept track of anything very well. And you guys warned me about this. Like, you guys told me over and over that I need a better mechanism for tracking everything. I store all the lore in my head, and all of the notes that I take are on various sticky notes, the backs of receipts. Like, I have some of these canvas notebooks for like Sims YouTube, and they're spread, like, literally, the notes are spread across multiple of them. Like, I have many. Not, like, they're not even, like, it's not even like I finished this whole one, I started a new one. It's like, this is halfway done, this is halfway done. I haven't done a very good job at writing everything down, and I am certain that there are little details here and there that kind of got lost along the way. But I make videos of everything, so I think what I need to do before the save file comes out is go back through and watch all of my own save file videos and then consolidate all the notes into one place and then make sure that everything is kind of consistent and all my ideas that I wanted to explore are actually explored. Obviously, I'm saying, like, you guys warned me about this. I acknowledged at the time that it was a bad system, and I still didn't create a better system. But honestly, I don't know if I would have been capable of making a better system. A lot of the lore, like, that comes to me, it comes to me when I'm, like, not even at home. Like, I'm on the go somewhere. I'm at work, usually. I'm doing something else. I stick it in my pocket. I lose it. And certainly, I could have done a better job documenting as I went. But I don't know. I don't really with like digital, like you're like, oh, just get a Notion on your phone. I don't really like do that. I don't like that. I'll take like notes in my notes app. So I also have notes about the save scattered in the notes app of my phone. I just am a chronically messy and disorganized person. And I regret it, but I also like, I don't know how to build a better system for myself. I really don't. Maybe like a binder that I can like put all the like little notes into. Ultimately, this YouTube channel is a form of documentation, so I am documenting it in like a somewhat organized fashion. I think the videos are pretty organized, even though they're a little bit, you know, chaotic or maybe all over the place. So I'll figure that one out. Another thing I regret is the way that I went about creating lore. I think it was good to follow what I was super excited about, but ultimately that meant that I made a bunch of young adults, and then I made a bunch of adults, and then I went, crap, I don't have any kids or toddlers or infants or teens in my save. And then I've been kind of retroactively trying to fit a bunch of them into my save. And ultimately that's kind of ended up with just like a bad system. Like, I don't know. I made this list of Sims in my save and what age group they are, and then if they're single or taken for the adults, young adults, and elders, so that I could just get like an idea of like demographics. I also noted if they were like gay or straight, and because I'm trying to represent as many people as possible, but also because of my unorganized way of doing this, it's kind of a little bit haphazard. And there aren't a lot of single eligible like bachelorettes in my save file. Like a lot of them are coupled up. I didn't even realize I did that until literally I was doing this demographics thing and I was looking at all the names and I was like, oh no, all of these people are coupled up. If you move your sim in, it's gonna be a little bit hard for you to find another sim to date unless you want to like break up a couple and be a homewrecker. Kind of makes sense for the lore of this town for that to be kind of the demographic. There is like a lot of settled couples. It's, you know, a little bit more in the suburbs. It's not quite a city. It's kind of developing in this area. Like it's got, you know, things that are kind of intriguing people to kind of move into the area. But I think in the future, especially if I'm going to do like a college town, I'm definitely going to have to do a lot more single sims that your sim can date. And I'm also just going to have to keep in mind to make a variety of sims instead of just get sidetracked, because the way that I kind of do it is like a little spider web of like, oh, I like this sim can be connected to this sim, and then I work on that sim's family, and then I do that sim's relationships, and it just ends up this kind of chain where until I forcibly go, okay, we need to work on making some adult sims. Okay, we need to work on making some child sims. It's like, it just spirals out of control a little bit. My ideas just kind of spiral out of control, and then I have a million young adults and no other sims in my save, which that's actually not true. My biggest demographic is adult sims, which I feel like is rare. I feel like a lot of people play with young adults and not a lot of people play with adults. I do lack elders, and right now I'm lacking children, toddlers, and infants, so I'm hoping to kind of hopefully rectify that. I'm gonna do my best. The last and biggest thing I regret goes along with this kind of disorganization thing. I have used CC throughout the save. Not a lot of it. I've done my best to kind of curb down the amount of CC that I'm using. However, I didn't keep track as I went, and I'm gonna have to make a CC list all at one time, and it might be better that way because I've gone through and I'll edit builds and I'll add stuff to builds as I go. but it's gonna suck to have to sit and go through my mods folder and find everything that you need for this save. Like, I'd almost just regret using CC point blank period, but then I don't, because the little pieces of CC that are in this game really add so much. So those are my biggest regrets for making my version of Willow Creek, my version of my save file. And there's more of them than I honestly thought there would be. I overall obviously do not regret working on the save file. It has been such a fun experience, and so many people on this channel have been so awesome about it. But I think I'm mainly just trying to get a grasp of what maybe I want to keep in mind or do differently in the future, because some of the stuff that maybe worked for me in the moment, in retrospect, is just like not gonna work long term. And this video also, I think, kind of serves as like a to-do list a little bit for things that I need to work on in order to wrap up my save file. Yes, if you enjoyed this video, I know it was a bit of a different one, a little bit more just like me talking, but if you want more save file content, more of just me talking, there will be videos on the screen now that you can click on. And as always, if you've watched this to the end, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you.